Welcome back to the Authentic Living Show here on 94.9 FM and AM 950 The Word. I'm Courtney Shaw, and we are continuing our Summer to Serve series with a focus today on health and fitness. Yes, even after we had the cake lady in, Yari, yes, we love to eat cake and celebrate, but we like to eat healthy and stay fit so we can enjoy those special treats too. But I've invited a dynamic couple on to talk about their mission to serve others by equipping them and inspiring them to lead a healthy and active lifestyle. So welcome, you guys, to the Authentic Living Show. I've got Ryan
Happy
Sick.
to be here.
Hey, we're happy to have you too. So just want to introduce our listening audience to you a little bit. So Ryan is actually a certified personal trainer. He's a strength and conditioning specialist and sports performance coach right here in Orlando, Florida. He opened Sick Fitness back in 2014 and recently rebranded and relaunched, and I love why he did this, to partner alongside his beautiful fiance, Kimmy, in February of this year. And so Kimmy has a background as a certified family health coach through the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute. But she's also had over 12 years of experience in the fitness industry and worked with hundreds of individuals and families throughout that time to really help them maintain and obtain and maintain their personal fitness and wellness goals. So I want to welcome you guys to the Authentic Living Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's so cool to have you. So, of course, I've known Kimmy for many years, but Ryan, we've seen at the gym, and you guys know that's a part of our family's lifestyle. It's date night for my husband and I throughout the week, and we're an active, healthy, and fit family, and we share that same passion, and you all do as well. And so, you guys know there's an epidemic right now of obesity and diabetes in our country. It's running rampant, especially with our children. And people are really aware of it, but they feel stuck and they don't know what to do about it. So I want you guys to talk a little bit about why you chose this path of life to really help people in this area, and just a little bit about what you guys are doing in the community to serve our youth.
Yeah. Babe, you want to tell them how we rebranded?
Yeah, so initially back in 2014, I was working at a gym, and my uncle had come down from Michigan to visit, and I was showing him the gym. I was just touring him pretty much, and he goes, Ryan, your passion for fitness and for helping others, you need to open up your own company, and you need to call it Sick Fitness. And at the time, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So fast forward a couple years, I become kind of complacent with the group fitness is what I was doing, personal training mainly. Meet Kim at the gym, and everything just kind of spiraled out of control.
That's the best place to meet. I'm telling everybody, go to church, go to gym or Home Depot. Those are all good places.
Exactly. So once I met Kim, I felt her passion for fitness, and she got her health coaching certification to work with adults and children as well, teaching them about nutrition. And I was sitting there halfway through the fire academy last year, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is not my calling. This is not my path. I was not at peace, very, very anxious with what I was doing with the fire academy. And I looked at her, I'm like, how do we combine our forces pretty much and work together to rebrand and restructure Sick Fitness and move forward together? Cool. And then the rest is history.
That's awesome. But I think what's really cool to hear just in your journey, just like we had Yari on last segment, is you got to this point of you were unsettled and you weren't fulfilled, and there was a greater calling. You just didn't know what it looked like. And that's when you kind of step out in obedience to that and step out on faith, right? Because you didn't know what it looked like, but you knew there was something pulling you in this direction. And then God saw it fit to bring you guys together.
Exactly.
And there's really power in partnership. And Kimmy really brings in that essential piece, which is the nutrition piece. It's really 80% of it plus if you want to have long-lasting results. So here you guys are, you team up, but you also have a special heart for the youth too, because of what's going on with our kids. And it's not something you can kind of brush off anymore. You see it. You see young children even out at, running around at PE or struggling, with their weight or diabetic or heart disease. And so what did you guys do to come together to really focus on getting our kids healthy and fit?
Yeah. And I think with that, Brian, I didn't know when I had met, he was thoroughly interested in working with kids as well. He had a past of doing that. And it's always been one of my long-term goals is to be able to work with children. I've always had a connection with them. Super close to my nieces, nephews, love them. And so, we just really got the opportunity to team up and discuss, how can we make an impact in their lives? Like, what can we do together as a unit? And so that's where I decided to get that family certification for health coaching. So we talked about it and realized the schools need help. Like there's really not a program in place for these kids to get education at a young age, and especially if they're not getting it at home.
Right.
So we had the chance to build together and figure out how can we hit the streets and introduce ourselves to tens and tens and tens of hundreds of schools, over the last 6 months, and tell them about our program, how we can educate the kids, but do it in a fun way so that they're going to actually understand what it is that they're learning. Hands-on workshops. So typically a day for us would look like we would do about an hour at one school. In some cases, we're there for up to 4, but we'll work with the different, groups of ages. And we will do a 30-minute segment of fitness fun. We'll have we'll be working them out, though. They'll think they're having a great time
but
because it's
sweating
competitive.
Yeah.
But exactly.
It's a lot
But
of
they're hitting battle ropes and jumping hurdles and finishing obstacle courses, etc. And then we'll take them inside and we'll do a 30-minute segment of health coaching. And that's like I said, it's hands-on. It's a workshop. They're going to learn about sugar. They're going to learn about the good and the bad fats. They're going to learn about why they need fruits and vegetables with almost every meal, if possible. And we've seen a really great result from it.
That's incredible.
From the time we start to when we finish.
Oh, yeah.
And I
really
think too,
excited.
it's so important to combine the nutrition and the fitness. And I think too, if you start educating the children younger, right, they could go home and influence their parents in a positive way too. So you're really making an impact on the whole entire family, and you're making it fun. Eating broccoli shouldn't be like drudgery. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I think when they start learning to take ownership of their bodies, you're not only affecting the family and the overall health, but you're affecting their success in the classroom too, and their ability to focus.
Definitely.
Because when they're so loaded up with sugar and processed foods, it's hard to focus. Your mind gets foggy. You check out.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so important for a lot of our schools to step up when it comes to the nutrition and more recess and physical activity and movement. So Ryan, what have been some of the results that you've seen with the kids, just maybe even in their attitudes and of course physical transformations, but what has been one of the most impactful transformations so far?
By far, there's a couple schools that we go to, and the first couple of times that we go in there, specific kids are like very timid,
They're sketchy.
reluctant to do anything. They see the other kids kind of excelling at the obstacle courses or the challenges, whatever we're doing, and they kind of just take a back seat, you know? And the more we work with them and the more we pay attention to them and we make them feel important and special, and we're like, you can do this.
Right.
It builds that self-confidence. It builds that self-esteem. And time after time again, we keep coming back. And now these same kids at the beginning that were off to the side and reluctant to do anything are now the ones like leading the pack. And it's the
cool.
coolest thing to see. It really is.
Well, you guys get to see the fruit of your labor. And I think, too, it's just the time. It's the attention. It's having somebody really push you past your comfort zone, because that's what most people don't realize about fitness. It is uncomfortable. It's not quote unquote fun going to the gym. You're literally breaking down to build up. It is work, but it's working with a purpose, and you're building their confidence, like you said, and their self-esteem. And a lot of these kids go home to situations too where they don't have parents that are there. Their parents may show up late at night, or maybe a single family home, or a lot of them are struggling to get food on the table, especially healthy food. And I know a lot of people struggle with that too, Kimmy, when it comes to feeding their families, because now we just kick back school, we're getting back in that routine. And I want to encourage our listeners too, and you can do this in a really unique way, but to get families around the dinner table again, because it's so easy to eat on the go through the drive-through, and we know that
conveniency.
Yeah, it's a convenience factor. So what are some tips that you would give families listening right now to just even maybe once or twice get around the dinner table, and some good meal ideas as well?
Absolutely. I think that it has to do with just prepping. And, as a family, obviously life gets in the way and we get busy, and, there's 1,000 things going on. Some families have more than one child, and I hear that gets a lot more hectic. But, I think if they set that schedule in place, and the parents, it always is going to start with the adult. And if they can set those expectations for their family and say, every Sunday is, smoothie Sunday, or we're going to the produce market today together as a family, you have to pick out 5 vegetables or fruits that you get to try. Throw a reward in there if you'd like. You got to get creative. And I think that overall, getting the kids' interest peak is a start of it, but just making sure that these kids stay on that, path is their job as well, as the parent. So being a unit, doing things together, if it's playing basketball once a week, or on the calendar, it's walking the dog or throwing the Frisbee, get outside, you know, but also with the, nutrition piece, once again, just getting the kids involved. I have my nieces help me do stuff like that all the time, because I always try to help them with making better choices. And so, some kids they'll them specifically may not like a certain fruit, you know, in its raw state. But when we put it in the blender and we mix it with some others, now they love it. And so those are some other
kale and everything.
You have to hide some things, and I tell them that's just like what the foods they eat. They don't even know the ingredients that they're putting in their body, because it's, you know, hiding in the packages that they're, you know, choosing. So the packaged food. So you got to just, you know, take some chances, but it's all about starting with the top. The parents got to set that foundation, as I really think, and, you know, eating those whole foods. You know, those sweet potatoes and the little things at first, instead of, you know, your standard potato, or, you know, instead of a rice, starch, have a whole grain, you know, instead of white, you know, chicken more than pork, you know, just kind of get the basics down.
Small.
But we got to educate. The parents have to educate themselves too.
Absolutely.
So.
And that's one thing that I love too. You do have your main commitment, obviously, is to getting into the schools and getting these kids healthy and fit. You're educating them, but you also provide other things outside of the school system. And so I want to talk about that going into the next segment a little bit more, but tell us about some of the other services that you all provide through your fitness company.
Sure.
Yeah. So as far as what we do for the kids, we go to the schools, and then for the adults, we have specific programs that we run where we do group exercise workouts 2 to 3 times a week, and you can come whenever you want to, whenever you can make it. It's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. And then on top of that, we also offer meal plans, custom meal plans, custom fitness plans. So if you're going to the gym, we'll have a specific, you'll have like a specific regimen to follow each and every time you go in there. You see so many people going into the gym nowadays, and like, you're timid, you don't really know what to do.
It can
you see
be
everybody else.
overwhelming.
Exactly. So this will give you a structured workout to follow each and every time you go in there, cater specifically around your goals. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's good that you really provide, you know, from the youth all the way to the elderly. You guys have something for everybody. So what is your information that our listeners can get in contact with you? Even the school, you know, the school owners that are listening. I know you guys work specifically with private schools, private Christian schools. That's been kind of a niche for you. So where can our listeners go to get your information?
Yeah, so they can actually go to our website at www.sickfitness.com. They can find us on Facebook. They can find us on Twitter. They can find us on Instagram, and private message us that way. We have links all throughout our Facebook pages and such. So they're definitely able to contact us through all those sites.
We'll be right back with much more from Ryan and Kimmy. This is Courtney Shaw. You're listening to The Authentic Living Show here on 94.9 FM and AM 950 The Word.